Now today here at the Old Bailey, the judge has just handed down a whole life term for those 3 murders in Peterborough, and he has also handed down a life sentence with a minimum of 12 years for those attempted murders in Hereford. Well, Dennehy has been in the dock today. She has been smiling, she has been laughing on certain occasions, she's been looking at her accomplices across the dock because they're all in the dock together, smiling, talking as the proceedings go on. And what's interesting about that whole life term is that she is the only woman serial killer who has been handed that length of sentence by a judge in England and Wales.
The year 2013 witnessed a series of chilling events that shook the quiet town of Peterborough, England. A seemingly ordinary woman, Joanna Dennehy, became the embodiment of pure evil as she embarked on a horrific killing spree. Dennehy, with a cold heart and a disturbing lust for blood, brutally murdered 3 men, leaving a trail of devastation in her wake. Her crimes shocked the nation, not only for their brutality but also for the unsettling calmness with which she carried them out. Dennehy's case became a morbid spectacle, drawing public attention to the dark side of human nature. The heinousness of her acts forced investigators and the public alike to grapple with the chilling reality of a female serial killer, a rare breed in the annals of criminal history. This essay delves into the chilling tale of the Peterborough ditch murders, exploring the life and crimes of Joanna Dennehy, the victims whose lives she tragically cut short, and the legal proceedings that followed. Dennehy, born in August 1982, had a troubled past, marked by a history of violence, mental instability, and a penchant for manipulation. However, nothing in her past could have prepared anyone for the horrors she was about to unleash. Her killing spree began in March 2013, and within a short span of just 10 days, she had claimed the lives of 3 men, forever etching their names into the grim narrative of the Peterborough ditch murders. This case is not merely a recounting of gruesome murders, but a chilling exploration of the depths of human depravity. It raises uncomfortable questions about the nature of evil, the failings of societal systems, and the challenges of comprehending the seemingly incomprehensible motivations of a killer. Join us as we delve into the dark heart of this harrowing case. The first victim to fall prey to Dennehy's deadly impulses was Łukasz Slabaszewski, a 31-year-old Polish national who had the misfortune of crossing paths with her. Slabaszewski was known to have a history of alcohol abuse and was described by those who knew him as a vulnerable individual. Dennehy, with her manipulative nature, saw an opportunity to exploit his vulnerability. On March 19, 2013, Slabaszewski was lured to Dennehy's flat, where she lived with her accomplice, Gary Stretch. It was there that Dennehy committed her first gruesome act, stabbing Slabaszewski to death. Her bloodlust, once unleashed, was far from satiated. Just a few days later, on March 29th, Dennehy claimed the life of her second victim, John Chapman, a 56-year-old man who was her housemate at the time. Chapman, described as a kind and gentle soul, was unsuspecting of the danger that lurked within his own home. Dennehy, without a shred of remorse, stabbed him to death, adding another life to her grim tally. Later that same day, Dennehy set her sights on her third victim, Kevin Lee, a 48-year-old property developer who was also her landlord and lover. Lee, unaware of the fate that awaited him, went to meet Dennehy, only to be met with the same brutal end as her previous victims. Dennehy, now with 3 lives on her hands, showed a chilling lack of remorse. She dressed Lee's body in a black sequin dress, posing him in a macabre display before dumping his body in a ditch near Newborough. The bodies of Slabaszewski and Chapman were later discovered in another ditch near Thorney on April 3rd. Their discoveries sent shockwaves through the community and sparked a nationwide manhunt for the killer. As the investigation into the Peterborough ditch murders progressed, a disturbing picture began to emerge of Joanna Dennehy and the individuals who aided her in her crimes. Gary Stretch, whose real name is Gary Richards, was a man of imposing stature, standing at 7 feet 3 inches tall. Stretch, who had a history of minor offences, was drawn into Dennehy's web of manipulation and became her accomplice. Stretch's role in the murders was primarily that of a driver, transporting Dennehy to and from the crime scenes and assisting her in disposing of the bodies. Another man, Leslie Layton, was also implicated in the case. Layton, who was an acquaintance of Dennehy and Stretch, was aware of the murders and helped to cover up the crimes. Dennehy's motive for the killings remained a chilling enigma. When questioned by police, she showed no remorse and even appeared to revel in the attention her crimes garnered. Psychiatric evaluations painted a disturbing portrait of a woman with a severe personality disorder, characterized by a lack of empathy, a grandiose sense of self-importance, and a profound inability to feel guilt or remorse. Some experts have suggested that Dennehy may have been driven by a sadistic desire to inflict pain and suffering on others, while others have pointed to her apparent need for control and power as a motivating factor. Whatever the underlying reasons, one thing is certain: Joanna Dennehy was a deeply disturbed individual who posed a significant danger to society. The trial of Joanna Dennehy and her accomplices sent shockwaves through the UK as the full extent of their crimes was laid bare for the world to see. In November 2013, Dennehy pleaded guilty to 3 counts of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. Her guilty plea, a rare occurrence in murder cases, was a testament to the overwhelming evidence against her. On February 28, 2014, Dennehy was sentenced to a whole life order, becoming only the 3rd woman in British legal history to receive such a sentence. The judge, Mr. Justice Spencer, described her as a cruel, calculating, selfish and manipulative serial killer who posed an ongoing danger to the public. Gary Stretch was convicted of 3 counts of preventing the lawful burial of a body and 1 count of attempted murder. He was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 19 years. Leslie Layton was found guilty of perverting the course of justice and preventing the lawful burial of a body. He was sentenced to a total of 14 years in prison. The case also exposed failings within the probation service, as Dennehy was under their supervision at the time of the murders. A serious case review found that probation staff had missed opportunities to properly assess the risk she posed and failed to adequately monitor her behavior. Since her imprisonment, Dennehy has continued to make headlines with reports of her alleged involvement in a prison escape plot and her relationships with other inmates. Despite being locked away, the shadow of Joanna Dennehy and the horrific crimes she committed continues to loom large, a stark reminder of the dark side of human nature.